Hello, I'm back with my second very unprofessional video about fountain pens and ink. And today, going to be looking at Noodler's Red Black ink. I have it in my Lamy Safari fountain pen here with a fine nib. And today I'm going to be writing on various kinds of paper to see how the ink looks, how the paper, various types of paper respond to this Noodler's Red Black ink. For a very long time, I only bought black or blue ink, but as it goes, when you get into a hobby, eventually you start to expand beyond your first choices, your primary things. And I saw various reds I was interested in. Many of them were just too much of a straightforward red, maybe looked informal or not appropriate for the kinds of things I needed to write that maybe others would see. But this Noodler's Red Black is dark enough that it looks good long term, looks professional in many ways, but it's red enough that it has quite a bit of character. And it writes really well in my Lamy Safari. You can see this piece of tape with a red line on the back. That's to differentiate this Lamy Safari from my other black Lamy Safari that has black ink in it and helps prevent some problems. So I've got a stack here of some notebooks and some paper that we're going to try this Noodler's Red Black ink on. I've got your standard Rhodia pad here. I've got something from Dollar General of all things, which is everywhere. It's a simple writing tablet. This is something I picked up that I'm using quite a bit when I just need to make quick notes and don't want to waste good, more expensive paper. So you can see it's made in India, and it's kind of fountain pen friendly, enough that it's good enough for shopping lists, for phone messages, things like that. I've got the wonderful CD notebook with a whole lot of reflection there because I've left the plastic cover on it from Apika. This is great and wonderful paper. I've got a Muji notebook. Nothing on the cover, of course. They come in packs of 5 and wonderful paper. I've got another notebook from Dollar General that I found good luck with. This one is also, the paper is made in India, you can see. I think this sells for about $2. I have filled probably 10 of these basic notebooks, using my Lamy Safaris just for journaling. It's really good, cheap paper. Not at the level of some of the others I've just shown you, but I'm always on the hunt for what is some halfway decent cheap paper that I can use for things where it's good enough for daily use. And this brand, Office Hub, that Dollar General has, seems to work. I've also got another notebook here. This one is from CVS, that wonderful drugstore. And quite often, what you find in drugstores in terms of paper, most of the time, sometimes all of the time, the paper is not pen, fountain pen friendly, but this one pretty much is. The brand is Caliber, and it's a college ruled simple notebook here. You can see the size, 9.5 by 6.5. Really nice size for journaling. But look at where the paper is made. It's made in Vietnam. And so I picked this up. I think this one, this Caliber paper notebook, is a little better than the Office Hub one from Dollar General. It also costs a lot more. These are about $7 for a notebook of 150 sheets, but it's decent. Whereas this one is about $2 for 100 sheets. Both are decent, but this one is a bit better to more pens, not as absorbent. I also bought some loose leaf paper by Caliber from CVS. Not the same. Not the same as what's in the notebooks. So read carefully what you see. And then finally, I've got some copy paper. Not the cheap stuff, but some pretty good stuff, really. This is Hewlett Packard Premium 32 with color lock. And this is copy paper that's meant to be used with color printers, especially desk jets and other things, inkjets, and it makes color pop out and doesn't soak in too much. In terms of fountain paper pen, paper for fountain pens, it's copy paper. It's not a bad way to go when you just want a big blank sheet. And so again, my quest for sheet paper. So let's begin, and I want to start with some of the cheapest stuff and see what this Noodler's red black ink looks like and feels like on this paper. So let's start with this writing tablet from Dollar General. Again, made in India. And let's see how the ink looks and feels from my Lamy Safari um, fine nib here. And so again, this is paper from Dollar General, and I'm writing with my Lamy Safari, and it's a fine nib. And as you've heard me say over and over, I'm using Noodler's red black ink. And let me zoom in a little bit closer so you can see more detail what I'm writing here. It's pleasant to write on this paper. The feel um, is good. It's there's a bit of of scratch or tooth, as we would say, um, but it's pleasant, at least with the Lamy Safari. Other pens may not be as smooth. I can see a bit of shading in there, and the ink does not seem to soak down into the paper too much. The lines are pretty solid. There's minimal feathering. There is a little bit. I mean, it's not a high-end paper, but not bad for just jotting phone notes, other little things that you're going to use, and then pitch, uh, grocery store lists, and things like that. The color looks okay. Let's see how it looks on some other papers. One more, the other notebook from Dollar General. I'm curious if the paper is any different between the notepad and the notebook. So let's try again. Again, we've got the Lamy Safari in fine point, and I'm using Noodler's red black. And here the feel is similar, but a bit smoother. I can hear the scraping a little bit, just like I can on that pad. One thing I found about these Dollar General notebooks is that the paper in a given notebook is not always consistent. There may be a sheet that seems a bit slicker to touch, and then every once in a while you get a page that the ink feathers quite a bit. Most of the time, not that, but here and there, it's a quality control issue, but not bad. The feathering does not seem to be much of an issue here with this nib and this ink, and the feel is pretty good. The color is all right. I can see um, some shading there and other things, and it doesn't look too dark or too light. I think it's an attractive look we've got here. So those are the $2 General ones. Now let's jump to this Caliber notebook from, let me get the thing back under there. This is the CVS notebook. Um, and again, with the paper made in Vietnam. So let me flip to an open page here. I can see I tested various pens and things. And we'll grab this page here and see what it looks like. And so again, the Lamy Safari fine nib, and we're testing Noodler's red black. And I gotta say, um, the color here has a bit more, I would just call it pop, than the Dollar General or Office Hub paper. It is more expensive, and hopefully that means the quality is a bit better. Sometimes that's not always the case. But again, this paper is from Vietnam, where people still use fountain pens, and it is done in a lot of Asia. So I like this. I would give this in terms of drugstore paper. I would give this an A minus. I would give the Dollar General paper probably a B plus, but for value an A. So this is good. The color looks all right, and maybe you can see that a little bit. So let's move on to some supposedly better paper. You may grab the Muji notebook. Heard about this from Mr. Doodlebud and tried it, and I think it's pretty good paper overall. But it depends on the ink, because as you know, there's that wonderful uh, three-pointed thing that we all know about. That if we use fountain pens, you got to bring three things together: the pen, the ink, and the paper. And when you find three that work together, it's a wonder to behold. And so again, here is this Lamy Safari, fine, with Noodler's red black. And there's less tooth than the CVS or Dollar General papers. The smoothness is pleasant. After they dry, we'll also look and see what bled through and what did not. In terms of color, I think the color looks pretty good. It actually looks a little better than the CVS. I see the um, the shading a bit more, and the black part seems to pop out a bit more than the red. Um, I think it looks really nice in this paper. It doesn't seem to be feathering much, no problem. Um, Looking at the back side of the sheet, you can see the triangle I drew. You can see the words, but only where I stopped with a point and paused for a moment does the ink come through on this Muji paper. And so I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's keep moving here to some better and bolder papers. Here is the Rhodia dot pad, my small one here. And this is such a standard paper. You hear about it all the time when you're first getting into fountain pens, that this is some good paper. So let's give this a try, see what it looks like and how it feels. Again, I've got my Lamy Safari, fine, and we're looking at Noodler's red black ink. So what are my first impressions here? How does this look? How does it feel? I think it looks a little better on the Muji paper. Let's give it a few seconds to dry. I'll reassess that, but um, my initial impression is looks a little better on Muji. Feels fine on here. There's a little bit of sound, a little bit of drag with this particular nib, and that is okay. Um, Overall, I'd give this a good grade. Um, it is pleasant to write on. What else was I going to say? And the color overall good, and I'm going to guess that it's true. So, of course, the Rhodia does well. May not be the best of the best of the best, but it does well with this red black ink. Okay, we're almost done. Let's look now at my favorite paper, I think. And I've already written in this one. This is my journal, so I'm not going to keep doing test things in it. But let me zoom out just a little bit. You can see where I've already written the other day. Safari with red black noodlers right here. Very smooth, less feedback than above, which is that there. Color shades a bit, and it looks vibrant. I am biased towards this paper because no matter what pen I put to it and what ink I put to it so far, It's at least an A minus, if not an A. I really like the feel of this there. So I got to say, this is one of the better ones out of the three. If we flip it over, I don't see it come through at all. I can barely see the writing, but it's would not be a problem to write over the back side at all. No bleed through at all. So let's look again. Here is the uh, Rhodia. No bleed through, but I can see the darkness of the ink coming through. Not a problem. And then here, let's look at the Muji real quick. And the Muji, as I said before, you can see where I stopped with the pen and let it thicken out of the nib a little bit. It came through, but other than that, it looks pretty good in this little notebook. So wonderful for taking places. The CVS notebook, Caliber brand, Vietnam. Look at that. No bleed through at all. Nothing. Wow, that's even better than the Rhodia. That's amazing. Yeah, not a bad deal for something you can buy at a drugstore. All right, let's go on to the Dollar General, the cheapest paper. The lines look okay here. Let's see how it looks on the opposite side. Not bad. Not bad at all. Again, this paper is made in India, and this sheet's pretty smooth. I gotta say, that's not bad. And then the paper that's supposed to be about the same thing, the notepad from Dollar General, again made in India. Let's see how it looks on the other side. Not bad. Not bad. Hmm. So those are my thoughts on Noodler's Red Black on various types of paper. I really like the ink. It works wonderfully in my Lamy Safari with fine nib. I haven't used it in any other pens yet. I love the color. It seems to pop on a lot of things. It's pleasant to journal with, and it's kind of neat to sign things with as well. It is part of their line that is waterproof and fade resistant and things like that. So it's you could address an envelope with it, and if it got damp in the rain, it would probably be okay. So tell me what you think. Sorry about the lack of professional production here. I'm just learning now, but I'm curious. Have you used Noodler's Red Black ink? Do you like it? What kind of paper does it seem to work well on? Is there a pen you put it in that it just didn't work for you? Is there a pen you put it in, you went, hey, it works well in this pen? I'm always looking for that combination of paper, pen, and ink that fits together for particular situations. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video.